Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I am Maker400, and we gotta hurry to save the princess because supposedly soldiers attacked the the sanctuary. Definitely the soldiers attacked the cat. Well, not really attacked, but they're like they're not true soldiers. They're being controlled by Agarang, a man. I don't know how to oregano, orangutan, I don't know. Nor do I really, again, disclaimer, I'm not going to be able to pronounce almost, hello, dead priest. You are a second, only a second? Damn it, I should have stopped at McDonald's. They've taken her to the castle. You must find her before the wizard works his magic. Please, you are our only hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, and suddenly, yeah, dying in this world means disappearing into thin air. So yeah, the priest is dead, I guess. He's dead. He's dead. So, yeah, we're going to head off to the castle, to Hyrule Castle, to save the princess before the wizard breaks the seal. Because if he breaks the seal, well, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, evil, obviously. Evil is definitely top priority of things that will end up happening. But other things could happen as well. We could end up having, Lindsay Lohan become president, and you don't want that. So, anyway, maybe someone does. I would hope not. Anyway, something I didn't mention, the Master Sword has some powers that the regular sword doesn't. First off, it's more powerful, so, like, certain enemies will take less hits to be killed than they did before, I believe. Because it's just a more powerful sword. It's not the most powerful sword, as you'll learn. We can actually upgrade the Master Sword, which is odd. Because, like, in most of the games, if you, like Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time, if you upgrade the Master... I don't think you upgraded in Ocarina of Time, did you? But if you upgrade the Master Sword, it was mostly just restoring... Wind Waker did it well. They restored its power. It wasn't that you were upgrading it. You were restoring its power. Here, you technically take the sword and you basically alter it in terms of shape, because... You'll see. I'm not going to go that in depth because I don't want to spoil the game. But yeah, it's kind of artsy. You have the Master Sword and then you change it into something else. These guys aren't that big of a deal. They can be difficult. Just make sure to stay out of their way. The boomerang can be helpful. So the main thing here with the Master Sword, though, is when you have full hearts, you'll be able to use sword beams. Sword beams are something that are a staple of the Zelda series minus the 3D games, because sword beams really wouldn't... I wouldn't even know how would... You know, the closest thing that there is to sword beams in the Zelda series is Fierce Deity, I guess Deity. Fierce Deity Link from Majora's Mask, his razor sword things. Those are the closest you're going to get to 3D sword beams. In this game, though... Oh, I'm gonna die soon if I don't hurry up and Ice Rod. My first use of the Ice Rod does nothing. I like how they walk. When they're walking the sides, they're like, I'm gonna stab you. But yeah, the sword beams they were in the original Zelda, I believe. They're in this game. It's odd in this game though, because it's not like, you know, a beam necessarily. It's more like I was gonna say spray, but that wouldn't really make sense. But it's... Well, you'll see in a second. But it's sword beam. Basically, sword beams are... You would think they'd be cheap, but they're not that cheap, because you can only use them when you have full hearts, and you don't... And in this game, it's really easy. Like, one hit, you lose a whole heart. So it's not as easy to keep a full set of hearts as you would think would be. So, sword beams are not cheap. They could be, because you basically get a long-range attack. They also don't do nearly as much damage as the regular sword. I think they do like half damage as what the regular sword does. Yeah, there's sword beams. I believe that's sword beam. Technically, it's the Master Sword's magical power. In Minish Cap, if you've seen my Let's Play, it's actually what the Force Sword does to break spells. It's kind of what the animation is. And there's also a different type of sword beam. But yeah, that's essentially sword beams in this game. In other games, they just look like the sword. They're just like a dash of the sword. In this game, they're a spray of the sword, I guess. Again, that doesn't really make sense. So yeah, this is a whole upper level of Hyrule Castle. I don't know if this was just added on by Agarum, or you know, what purpose this, you know, there's already the throne room. It's not like this, you know, there's not like this is living quarters. There's no kitchen. You wonder that in video games. Like, there's different rooms that are just, there's no real design. It's just an empty room. And obviously, you know, it's just designed for you to go through. But, you know, it's like, I know I keep referencing other Zelda games, though I guess it's better that I reference other Zelda games as opposed to referencing Pikmin. But Twilight Princess, I liked how a lot of the temples actually had practical use. Like, for example, the Snow Temple was a house. All the rooms were just, you know, it was designed. There was rooms that were designed as a house, and there was also, you know, it was designed as an ancient old building, and all the rooms had a purpose of sorts. You know, granted, this is, you know, back in the SNES days. I don't really expect them to have a really, you know, well-designed, you know, like have a kitchen in all these rooms or have it really well thought out. You know, just back in the day, it was just getting the game to work more than, you know, the intricate design. Nowadays, you'll see a lot more. A lot of the 3D games, you know, I guess they do a lot in terms of 3D games have the rooms. Specifically in Twilight Princess, the room design was pretty great, because, or the dungeon design. I really like Twilight Princess dungeon design, personally, because they had a lot of really interesting dungeons, since they kept in mind the fact that the dungeons actually had a practical, they weren't just there for the sake of being there, they had somewhat of a practical purpose, in terms of people who used it. Oh look, a tile. Listen well, Mega, even with the Master Sword, you cannot inflict physical harm on the wizard. You must find a way to return his own evil power. Where have we used that technique? Well, not where, but that sounds like a technique that has been used before in Zelda games. In fact, this is the first game that, again, this is I keep referencing Ocarina of Time. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be doing that for the entirety of ever. You know, basically he's talking about bouncing his evil energy back. Tennis, basically playing tennis with the boss, and that is something that's been used in Ocarina of Time. And, you know, most people reference, when they think of that, playing tennis with the boss, they always reference Ocarina of Time. You know, I don't know, I feel like, I guess my thing is I feel Ocarina of Time gets too much praise for being original by some people, or by being so great and so fantastic, when it really wasn't all that original. You know, Zelda in general hasn't been that original for a while, but the only thing it did, the only major and again, it's a great game. In fact, I've been actually having the urge to play it because it really does have great environments and it does a lot of things right. But you know, that's the one thing it did do. The main thing it did right was it took Zelda into 3D, and it did it pretty well. It had, you know, it had great environments, and it did a good job of making Zelda transition to 3D. But the story was very lacking. The characters were very underdeveloped for a 3D game. I mean, even this game doesn't have really fantastic characters, but the way they played off the characters, they played them off as being, you know, sympathetic. You know, you wanted to sympathize with them, but they didn't have. They were very flat. So. Oh, look, the wizard. Ah, Mega, I've been waiting for you. Heh. I was hoping I could make Zelda vanish before your eyes. Behold, the last moment of Princess Zelda. Oh no, he's making her float, and why can't I go over there and stab him? I don't know, I should be able to. And Zelda is no more. That's sad. Ho ho, with this, the seal of the 7 wise men is at last broken. It is now only a matter of time before evil power covers this land. After all, the legendary hero cannot defeat us, the tribe of evil, when we are armed with the power of gold. Ho ho, now I must go. So, he might be gone, but unfortunately for him, there's a secret exit. Let's go in there. Oh, so you mean to say you would like to totally be destroyed? Well, I can make your wish come true. So this battle is basically, yeah, he's gonna fire 3 types of energy. There's the that kind, which you can bounce back at him. There's this kind, which is a blue little energy orb, which will spread, and you can't bounce that. And then he'll also fire lightning at you when he goes to the top of the screen, and he'll go to the top of the screen. If he doesn't move along with you, that means he's gonna fire lightning, so get out of the way. The problem with this battle is it's not that hard, but it can be long because sometimes you never know what his attack is gonna be. Like, for example, usually he starts off with, you know, the little one you can bounce at him, and then he'll just do, for a while he would just do little blue spread balls, and then the lightning, and then he would start off with the you know, he'll start off with the attack you can bounce back, but sometimes it changes. It's never really consistent, so just be careful, and whenever you see an opportunity to attack him, attack him. For the most part, that's really, you know, there's not really much else to this battle. Besides just making sure you have a good position to hit him with this attack. But yeah, you know, I feel bad always bad-mouthing Ocarina of Time because the only reason I'm so critical, again, the only reason I'm so critical on it is because there's so much praise for it. So I feel like, you know, well, it's not all that great, you know, and it feels like it's mostly the fact that other games get ignored because of it. But at the same time, as much as I point out its faults, I can point out faults of other games too. This game isn't perfect. This game's story isn't all that great either. I mean, even though it's a 2D game, I can use that excuse, but the story could have been better. And like right now, like it looks like they're just in the middle of the sky. They could have designed the outside of this area a little bit better, personally. So there, yeah, there's definitely obviously issues in this game too. Not every game has their own issues. It's just Ocarina of Time has been put on a pedestal that is so high that even no game possibly can reach it. And I guess I feel like people in general, including me, need to take a look at anything and realize that there are always several sides to the coin. There's always several pancakes to flip. You know, you have to just look at it in various ways. As much as Ocarina of Time is a good game and it's great to love it and I enjoy it, it also has its flaws, so don't make it out to be the best thing ever. And I guess it's the main thing, is you have to... People, I feel when they say it's the best game they put on the pedestal, some people, not all. There are definitely people I know who like it, but they realize that it has flaws. They end up, you know, just deluding themselves to reality to an extent. On anything, when they get so stuck on one thought or one train of thought. But anyway, that aside, yeah, Ocarina of Time is a good game. It has a great environment. It has great music for the most part, or not for the most part. In general, it has great music. It just, I was mentioning the fact that it has some of the songs from here, but not even for the most part. Yeah, it has great music. The characters are decent for an early 3D game. I wish there was better characterization, which I think they could have done. And the gameplay is really great, so it's good, but I feel like games since then have, well, met, like the trio that you are, but I am not ready to admit defeat yet. I will draw you into the dark world. But it's not, you know, again, it's not on the pedestal that people put it. So that's basically it. Just keep in mind that try not to put any game on a pedestal. I'm communicating to you across the void through telepathy. The place where you now stand was the Golden Land, but evil power turned it into the Dark World. The wizard has broken the Wise Men's seal and opened a gate to link the worlds at Hyrule Castle. In order to save this half of the world, the Light World, you must win back the Golden Power. You must also rescue 7 maidens who Aragababa sent to the Dark World. As members of the bloodline of the 7 wise men, they have power that will surely help you. So yeah, we are now in the Dark Land, or Dark World, which is used to be the Sacred Realm. And we have to go to the Palace of Darkness first. We are on the Pyramid of Power, and this is the next half of the game, which is basically going to get the 7 maidens to defeat the wizard and win back the Golden Power. And this is when the game starts to get really good. And over here, where there's a heartbeat bar, and that's all the time I have. Thanks for joining me. And next time we will head to our next temple, and the first temple of the Dark World. This has been Maker400 reminding you that pie is pie.